3. Welcome
Perfect.
to this episode of The Wave. I'm your host, Don Tecson, coming to you from my home here in Port Alberni. And with me today is my good friend, Mr. Paul Thompson, who is the chair of Alberni Valley Pride Society and also the chair of Alberni Literacy, or is it Literacy Alberni? Plus, he's a
Yes.
local business owner who came all the way from the east, if I'm not mistaken, and has fallen in love with Port Alberni. Even amidst this crisis, he's still having a wave. He's still having a wonderful Alberni Valley experience. Hi, Paul. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell me, Paul, from your end, just tell me about all the things you're up to first. Your Alberni Pride. Tell us a little bit about Alberni Pride Society.
Sure. So, like you said, I chair the Alberni Valley Pride Society and Literacy Alberni. Two are very busy, but also very different in boards. With Literacy Alberni, there are a lot of people on staff. This has affected the COVID-19 definitely has affected a lot of the staff in terms of layoffs. Some are able to work at home, but this whole thing is for COVID-19 has changed everything drastically.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
it really has. I think people have really adapted to the change very quickly, and again, for both boards, things are different. So for literacy, everybody pretty much was laid off at the start, and there's some things going on where a lot of students through the CLITSA training program will be learning some stuff online to help them get through the remainder of the school year as kids are struggling to pull it together, along with the parents at getting through the remaining couple of months in school. And some of these kids, they might need that CLITSA tutoring just if they're graduating this year or hoping to graduate this year, they might need that extra little bit of tutoring. So I'm glad
and
that
Literacy Alberni is able to do that online or in person or just a proper social distancing.
Yeah, they're doing some different things with some of the tutors to ensure that a lot of those kids are at least being, looked after still.
Okay. Well, more particularly though, this week we're doing a what we call a rainbow series of the wave. So
Yes.
everything for this week from the wave will be how this crisis has affected the LGBTQ community. So you are part of the Alberni Pride Society. You are the chair. You're the chair.
Yes. So for Literacy Alberni, we did put out, we had a meeting on Zoom about a week and a half ago, and we decided as a board to unfortunately cancel Pride events, which were kind of starting to get ramped up in terms of getting ready for the events in June. And it's not only just affecting people in a way that maybe they won't be able to celebrate Pride. Hopefully we could do something else like a Zoom meeting or some sort of event around people being in their homes in the very near future during Pride Month, which is June.
Yeah, but, that's quite near.
Yeah.
We were planning, I know we were planning a picnic. We were planning something for the youth on Friday night. And we were planning a picnic and a dance on Saturday. And then we were planning something on a Sunday.
Yes, we were going to have drag bingo. But we also, we cannot forget the Rainbow Fashion Show.
Yeah, we were supposed to.
That was going to kick everything off earlier in the week.
Yeah.
And all the people that have tried to get some of these events organized, everything is just at a standstill.
Oh, definitely.
Now,
But at
on
least
the other
I
side,
remember, if you remember correctly, the original plan for the fashion show was supposed to be in April. Can you imagine?
yeah,
Disaster averted. There is a God.
yeah. Well, again, all those events, everything is planned, and a lot of things go into planning. So it is kind of a blessing that things did stop ahead of time before we got
Mhm.
really too much planning and getting things together and knocking on doors of businesses for whatever. Now COVID-19 is really affecting a lot of people, especially people within our LGBT community,
Yes.
where maybe people really liked our coffee socials on Friday
Yeah,
evenings,
that's
and we went
true.
for that. Just to get out of the house. Some people are not maybe not working at all, or working from home, where maybe their only outlet, or maybe they're retired and their only outlet is, that meetup on a Friday evening at Birds
Hmm.
Bees. And now, we've resorted to doing some of that stuff on Zoom. I know I keep talking about Zoom on Zoom, but everything, we're trying to reach out to everybody and say, you know what, grab a coffee or some sort of refreshment and get in front of your laptop or your phone and let's connect and have some sort of connection, because I think a lot of people really need that still.
Oh yeah,
You know?
definitely.
And it really
And I've
you know,
I've I've seen you have resorted to conducting the regular board meetings by Zoom as well.
yes, and for all of this, it is a time for adjustment. And again, it just shows that a lot of people are resilient. They can adapt very quickly to changing times. Whoever thought that it would be, a few months now, really, that people have been kind of staying inside and barely getting out, for groceries or whatever. And, we don't know how long this is going to be. So we need to adapt and keep moving forward somehow. Uh, and I think for LGBT youth, you know, yes, they're still, hopefully some of them are going to graduate. Uh, we
Hmm.
do, and have formed a bursary committee on the Alberni Valley Pride board. Just to, we'd like to give out, it's kind of a newer thing for us the last year or so, to give out a bursary at the high
Okay.
school. So we'll see what that looks like, and where we go from there in terms of how that those graduations and all that stuff kind of happens.
So aren't you
Mostly,
glad, Paul? Because I know you came from the east, right?
yeah. So
So
just
aren't
outside
you
of
glad
Toronto.
that you're here instead of there?
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because Port Alberni is a very peaceful community, and when it comes to the amount of friends and pretty much family that we have surrounding us, at least we can kind of work together at making sure that the people that might not get out on a regular basis, or are confined to their homes, they still can reach out to people,
Hmm.
some sort of platform, anyways, and connect. Uh, you know, it's a huge thing. Not only does it affect seniors,
Hmm.
it's a lot of people, even in the transgender community, that might not be working because they just don't feel comfortable getting out in front of
Hmm.
people on a regular basis. Very tough times for everybody. And that connection, that personal connection, really needs to kind of still move forward somehow in these trying times.
Well, there are members of our community, the LGBTQ community, who are also business owners like yourself. How have
Yes.
you coped with that aspect of this crisis?
Yeah. So it's interesting because we have a B&B at this house, and right now we were kind of closed for a while because we were doing a little bit of renovation and just freshening the place up. over the last few months. But we did have some bookings that were coming in for the summer, and I'm sure you know that as well. When you had your
Yeah.
B&B, bookings would come in, and I would say that not everybody has actually canceled their bookings. I think people are really holding on to the fact that maybe they're somehow their vacation from uh, uh, other parts of the world will still happen, and they'll be able to come to Canada and visit Port Alberni and Tofino on Vancouver Island. But most bookings that have happened throughout, say, the end of March through till probably the end of May, early June, have already been canceled. But again, there's a few of those bookings that have yet to cancel, and we're very open on our cancellation policy, and we always have been very open, where they have till 24 hours, but everybody would get the refund regardless.
Yeah.
Who would ever thought that this would happen and be extended?
Yeah,
So
this was totally unforeseen and totally quite abrupt for most people,
yeah,
especially the business owners, right? And like there
yes,
were some restaurants who just, got in their supplies. Like they have a fresh supply of all the food and everything, and then suddenly they have to close down. They had to give away their supplies and their stock of food to their employees and to their neighbors and stuff like that. Otherwise, they would have just thrown it away, right?
yeah, I would agree. It goes to show, being in the B&B business, we would be slower in the winter, of course, but tourism still is a big thing for Port Alberni, and
Oh
really
yeah.
does get much more recognized than I think a lot of people in Port Alberni would give it credit for. The amount of people, and you've seen this yourself, where you'd have so many people from different parts of the world come and stay in this town and spend a few days and eat in restaurants and go to Hole in the Wall or go out to Cathedral Grove as they come in, or maybe they're definitely
The
on their
Sprout
way up.
Lake.
Yes, they're definitely on their way to Tofino, Euclid, maybe on a day trip, because it is expensive to stay out there in the summer. But for the most part, we have so many different places here. Just think of the hiking trails that surround us.
Oh yes.
Plus also, Stamp Falls, Little Qualicum Falls down the road. Like you said, beautiful Sprout Lake. There's so many places that we should be very proud of in Port Alberni, that a lot of people in the world get to see. We steer them in that direction, and hopefully hold on to them for a couple more days stay, so that they can enjoy some of the places and not just head out of town and go out to the coast.
Well, being a business owner yourself and also being involved with Alberni Pride Society and Literacy Alberni, and how are you able to cope, like staying home, going out, having to go out, having to stay
Well,
home?
that's interesting that you ask, because not only do we have a B&B at this house, we also run a business called Our Handy Guy. So we've had a few big projects over the course of the winter that have just kind of like finished tying up. Like we were out doing a lot of painting and flooring, stuff like that at a house out at Sprout Lake. That job is just finishing. The house actually is selling, or is sold on
Okay.
condition. Over the next, I think their conditions probably are, a couple more days yet. But the house is sold. Real estate's still kind of moving here, not pretty much at a discount that people would think. But so our Handy Guy business is still actually fairly busy, which actually really kind of floors me. We are, of course, to practice social distancing, and we're also pretty much working jobs just outside of people's homes or businesses. So, such as roof demossing and maybe fixing fences where bears have knocked down a fence over the winter to, or in the fall to get at food or whatever in people's yards. So all those little handy jobs that that are coming up, we are still getting quite a few calls. So we're very fortunate to live in such a small community. We pretty much don't really uh, chat with the customer besides by phone or other social media. When it comes to just going to their home and doing outside work, they don't actually have to come out. And if they do, obviously we're keeping to that 6 foot rule. You know, it's getting supplies. That's probably the hardest thing to manage. Going out to some of the local suppliers here for building materials. And just like a grocery store, you might be waiting a little bit outside, or they can only limit so many people inside the store. It's nice to see that everybody has adapted. Tape on the floor, within that 6 foot rule at the checkouts, or such as Beaver Creek.
Mm-hmm.
They take orders outside, and then shop inside, and then they bring it to you, and then you just pay for it on site, and then be on your way. So again, adaptability. Hats off to all the businesses out there that are able to adapt, and be safe. And be safe about it. Obviously.
Well, I'd like to go back to a certain issue, because there is I would say, a thriving community for the LGBTQ people who are here. In the case when they need to reach out to somebody, or they need somebody to talk to, or they need any support or help, where do they go to in the scope of our community, the LGBTQ community? Is there a is there a page we could go to?
Right. So there is a Facebook page, which is Alberni Valley Pride. So if you did put that into Facebook, you definitely could get connected to us. But also there's the trans group, which is growing, and it's called Trans Pride, and it's also part on Facebook. There's also, if you went to albernivalleypride.com, you would also be able to reach out through a Gmail account. So it's albernivalleypride@gmail.com.
Okay. So there is help, there is support available for the community out there, because Alberni, although it is small, it's got the biggest heart I've ever seen.
I would
in
agree.
The community.
Like you said, moving from the Toronto area out here a few years ago, I never would have thought, how great this community really is. We bought our house online, and we did a bit of research on Port Alberni. Some of that research would have been maybe some of the videos that maybe the Fenton team put on, or whatever. There's a lot of different YouTube places where you could grab, plus the Wave now, where you could grab at least some tidbits of information on Port Alberni, and what Port Alberni has to offer. It's a smaller community. It's got a lot of heart, that's for sure, like you said. And I think that it's a growing community. It's really sad to see that some of these wonderful businesses like Dog Mountain Brewery just opened up, but they're adapting. I saw people lining up to their window the other day. Mark and I were over helping call in minions at the Bread of Life on the weekend, just kind of helping them do some remodeling in there while Bread of Life is closed. And people were lined up outside Dog Mountain, and they were kind of taking people's orders. And there's one of the windows at the sidewalk level open up at like garage doors. So they were, again, adaptability. God love, God for sure.
People are thinking out of the box. They're reinventing themselves, and they're still able to actively participate in helping the community get through the crisis. Well, hopefully tomorrow I am interviewing our beloved mayor, and we'll hear what she has to say about all this. By and large, I would say that Alberni is doing pretty good together in coping with this crisis.
I would agree.
You know, there have been little, you know, little bit incidents here and there, but very minor. Overall, Alberni Valley deserves a congratulations, a 2 thumbs up, because we are going to get through this crisis together. So we're almost out of time, Paul. Thank you again for agreeing to be in the interview. Any words of final words of encouragement to the community, particularly the LGBTQ community?
Yeah, you know what, for anybody that's watching from the LGBT community or the community at large, you know, there's always somebody to reach out to. You know, reach out, you know, say hi, you know, go for a walk. There's so many beautiful trails here. You know, maintain your social distance or physical distancing, but get out and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful area. You know, back home in Ontario right now, they've had snow and it's a little cold. And,
Oh
you know,
my.
we really are very lucky climate-wise here. One of my favorite things here is, you know, the hotter summers that we have. The weather has been amazing. It's sunny and bright out, and we're looking at, I'm starting to sound like the weatherman, but we're looking at some rain later this week, which isn't a bad thing. We probably need it before hot, dry summer comes.
Mm-hmm.
But get out and enjoy, you know, say hi, wave to your neighbors, be afar, but at least acknowledge and make the best of this, you know. We will
Every time I listen to the weather report, Alberni is always the highest in terms of temperature for the weather.
Yeah, even on Vancouver Island, you know, like really are kind of in a little niche area because we are pretty protected here. Yes, it does get a little windy sometimes, but sometimes a nice summer breeze isn't a bad thing on a hot day. But it's beautiful. It really is beautiful climate. You know, we've already hit a couple of days in the 20s. What more could we ask for? If you have to stay at home, enjoy it. Okay.
I know every time I do a post from my balcony and boast about the weather, I get a feedback from people in Edmonton, even in Prince George. My sister in Prince George said, "We don't even see the grass here yet. They're up in Prince George." Yes. And here I am boasting, "Oh, I had my lawn cut already. My lawn's due for another mowing soon enough."
Yes, I am actually in a short sleeve shirt and shorts today. You know.
There you go. Well, I'm as you can see, also short sleeves. Anyway, thank you again, Paul. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. The wonderful Alberni Valley experience will continue despite of this crisis. We'll catch you next time on The Wave. God bless you all.